From the moment I hung up the phone after that call, I knew something had shifted inside me. My sister's voice was shaking on the other end, not with fear, but with anger. She yelled, "You're being completely selfish. All I asked was for help. Why won't you help me?" The words echoed in my head long after I ended the call. I didn't just hear criticism. I felt rejection from the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. Growing up, I was the responsible one. I got good grades in school, worked weekends to save money, and always helped wherever I could. But for some reason my family believed that loyalty meant sacrificing everything I had, even when it hurt me. So when my sister called, again, asking for more financial support, I hesitated. I wasn't heartless. I just knew that blindly giving money wasn't going to solve her problems. I remember sitting at the kitchen table that night, staring at a stack of bills I had been saving up to buy a small apartment. It wasn't much, just enough to finally have a place of my own after years of renting. But the moment my sister started crying on the phone, my head filled with memories of her teenage tantrums, nights when she spent money she didn't have, and times when she told me she'd figure it out, but never did. I wondered if helping her again would be love, or enabling. The next day I walked into my parents' living room carrying the cup of coffee I made for myself, ready for a calm conversation. Instead, the room exploded. My mom's eyes were red with frustration. My dad banged his hand on the table and said, "She's family. You owe her that much." Their voices rose, their disappointment spilled out, and suddenly I felt like the villain in my own life. "Family comes first," my father said. "You should help her. You always should." But I wasn't sure anymore. I wasn't fighting against my sister. I was fighting for a boundary I never learned how to make until now. For hours, they listed every time I had failed to be generous enough, reminded me of every opportunity one had and how I owed it to my family. They didn't see the message from my bank showing how close I was to breaking even after a difficult year. They didn't know how many sleepless nights I had because of money stress or how scared I was of losing my own stability. I remember sitting there in silence while they talked, tears building in my eyes. Not because they were right, but because they didn't understand me. I left their house that day more resolved than ever. I didn't want to hurt them, but I also couldn't let their demands control my life. For the first time, I realized that love didn't mean sacrificing your future for someone who kept repeating the same mistakes. Over the next few weeks, I made a promise to myself. I would no longer hand out money like it solved everything. Instead, I started investing in education, career coaching for my sister, and structured support, not handouts. I enrolled her in skill-building classes, helped her build a budgeting plan, and committed to periodic check-ins so she wouldn't feel alone. The first month was rough. She accused me of playing therapist instead of helping. My parents called me selfish more times than I can count. But slowly something began to change. My sister started making better decisions. She got a part-time job, she stopped asking for money, and she actually finished the budgeting plan we made together without convincing. The transformation didn't happen overnight. It was slow, messy, and uncomfortable, but real. And then one evening she called me, not crying but excited. "I got my first paycheck," she said, voice trembling with pride. "I did it. Without borrowing." At that moment I felt something stronger than relief. I felt genuine pride. Not because she succeeded, but because she did it her way. A few months later my family started to see the difference too. My mom called to say she appreciated my approach. My dad asked questions about how I was helping, not accusing. They didn't admit they were wrong, but their tone changed. The tension that once wrapped around every family conversation slowly eased. What I learned through all this is something many people overlook. Helping someone doesn't mean giving them everything they want. It means giving them what they need to grow. Family bonds are strong, but they should never cost your sanity or stability. Sometimes love means setting boundaries so the people you care about can find strength within themselves, not through dependencies. And while it may take time for others to understand your choices, eventually they may see that helping someone to stand is better than carrying them for Eve. R.